G'day, my name's Justin Porter and today's date is the 6th of May 2024 and title of my video is Death Rehearsal. Now it's really interesting. As far back as I can remember, I've always been fascinated by death. Death is something that's always fascinated me, and I've always wondered what happens at death. And even as a little kid, I remember in 1970 I went to the College Street Museum in Sydney, and I saw my very first human skeleton. And the skeleton was in a glass case, a human skeleton. It was real bone, it wasn't plastic, because I could tell by the teeth. And I was absolutely fascinated that that skull was a real person, just like I am. And this is when I was 9 in 1970. And I was fascinated by the fact that one day I was going to die and just be like that. And that was in 1970. And the fascinating thing is, it still fascinates me, death. What happens at death, I don't know. I wouldn't have a clue what happens at death because I haven't died. So I can't tell you what happens at death. I have no idea. This is really sad. This one here, Roshana Marie, born on the 1st of January 2000, died on the 26th of November 2018. This poor girl was only 18 when she died. And it says, in memory of our unfinished book, her story was only just beginning, resting peacefully, sadly missed. Now, maybe there is a life after death. I don't know. Write in the comments what you think. And I was born in 1961. I was born in 1961, and I came out of nothingness. I don't think I existed before I was born, and I became me in 1961. Consciousness. I came out of nothingness and cried. And that happened in 1961. Now, Death Rehearsal, the title of the video, is that last night I have a smartwatch and it said I slept for about 6.5 hours, my sleep. It says roughly 2 hours of that was REM sleep, rapid eye movement, 40 minutes was 3 hours something was light sleep. Light sleep is when you're kind of half awake, resting, dreaming. That's light sleep. And then I did 40 minutes of deep sleep. Now, where was I when I was in the deep sleep? When I wasn't dreaming. REM sleep is rapid eye movement. That's when you're dreaming, REM sleep. But when you're in deep sleep, what do you experience? Do you see blackness? No, I didn't see blackness. Did I see light? No. Did I see grey? I saw nothing. A lot of people imagine death might be just like being locked up in a dark room with nothing to do. But I don't believe that, because if you ask a blind person, what darkness is, they wouldn't know what darkness is. A blind person wouldn't know what darkness is, and they wouldn't know what light is because they've never seen it. I'll give you an example. Your eyesight, you see in an oval field of vision, but what do you see behind your head? You can feel the back of your head, you know there's something there, but what do you see behind your head? Do you see blackness? Do you see a black hole? Do you see grey? Yeah, you don't see anything. Now, this oval of vision that are around our eyes, if I get my finger there, I can see my finger. But if I pull my finger out, here, my finger, I pull my finger out I don't see anything. I don't see anything. I don't see black. I don't see grey. Anything. So I don't see at the side of my head. I can feel the side of I can feel my ear. But I look at my ear. I don't see black. I don't see grey. I don't see anything. Just like I didn't see anything when I was in that deep sleep last night. And death rehearsal, we do death rehearsal every night we go to bed. And we slip into that unconsciousness where we don't dream. And then we dream for maybe an hour. And then we go into that deep sleep for maybe 40 minutes. And dying might just be like slipping into a deep sleep, into nothingness. And when you're dead, you don't know you're dead. It's like you'd never been born before. It's like you never had a future, you never had a past. To you, there's nothing. And even in the book of Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament, now I'm not a Christian, I'm an atheist when it comes to the Bible, but there is some good things in the Bible still. I do believe there is some good things in the Bible. And one of the things is Ecclesiastes 9:5. It says, the living are conscious that they will die, but as for the dead, they are conscious of nothing at all. Now, I don't know if that's true, but I think it is. The New Testament in 1 Corinthians chapter 15 talks about the dead sleeping and waiting to be resurrected. And then Luke chapter 16, when Jesus talks about the rich man Lazarus, he contradicts that with the Lazarus going to the heaven and the rich man going to hell. And there's two contradictions in the New Testament and Old Testament. I believe that the Bible does contradict itself, and it had different authors who had different agendas and different viewpoints that aren't in harmony with each other. Now, reincarnation. I popped into existence in 961. Did I have an existence before 961? Well, think of the year that you were born. Think of the year that you were born and go back in time, and before you were born, what do you see? Blackness? There was nothing. There was no greyness, no blackness, no light. You didn't exist. You didn't exist. And for billions upon billions of years, you didn't exist. Like what Mark Twain said. Mark Twain, who was born in 1835, and he died in 1910. He says, I'm not afraid of being dead. I was dead for billions upon billions of years before I was born, and I never suffered the slightest inconvenience from it. Oh yeah, curiosity, you're wondering where I am. I'm in the Bow Desert, Sydney. Sorry, not Bow Desert, Sydney. I was born in Sydney in 1961. I was born in Sydney in 1961. But I'm in Queensland, southeast Queensland. I'm in the Bow Desert Cemetery in Brisbane. And if you want to see my other cemetery videos, I have 5 other videos on cemeteries. I have one at the Mount Tamborine Cemetery. I have a video at the Logan Cemetery, another video at the Wood Hill Cemetery. I have one at the South Brisbane Cemetery next to the Princess Alexandra Hospital at South Brisbane. I'm not too sure the name of that cemetery. South Brisbane, next to the PA Hospital, Princess Alexandra Hospital. I don't know what the suburb is. I just call it South Brisbane, but it's got a suburb name. I don't know what the suburb. You may be able to help me in the comments. What's this cemetery next to South Brisbane? It's in South Brisbane. It's next to the PA Hospital. You might be able to help, you know. But yeah. And I also have one at the Wood Hill Cemetery, Logan Cemetery, Mount Tamborine Cemetery, South Brisbane Cemetery, and Wood Hill Cemetery, Wood Hill. So this is my 6th video that's in cemeteries, you know. So I love cemeteries. I've always been fascinated by death. I always find them very peaceful and just nice to be in a cemetery. It's just relaxing, you know. I'll give an example of death, what it could be like. This person here, Evan Jenkins. Evan Jenkins he died on the 22nd of December 1934. He was 86 when he died. He was 86 years old when he died. So he would have been born in 1848. So think of the 1840s. What were you doing in the 1840s? Like this fellow, Evans, he was born in 1848 and he died in 1934. Probably most of my listeners didn't even live when he lived. So when Evan Jenkins was alive, we were dead. Now we're alive and Evan Jenkins is dead. And another example here is Sylvia Jean Swalsman, passed away 18th of March 1936. They were 28 years old. Now they would have been born in 1908. Oh, he's a magpie. Hello, Mr. Magpie. He's alive. He's alive, and hello. But the 1840s, we had the whole decade of the 1840s on photos. The 1840s was the first decade that the whole decade's on photographs, from 1840 to 1849. Look it up on YouTube, the 1840s. Hello, magpie. He's a magpie. In September, October and November, magpies will swoop you. Because magpies they do nests. They nest in they have their babies in September, October, November, and they swoop you. They will swoop you. So hello, Mr. Magpie. Don't be shy. But he's a magpie, and they swoop people. And in Sydney, a lady was carrying her baby in her arms, and she got swooped by a magpie and accidentally dropped the baby, and the baby died. It was on the Sydney News. It happened last year or the year before. Swooped by a magpie when she was carrying her baby in a park, and she was on an asphalt pathway, and she dropped the baby and the baby died. You know, so sad, you know. Here's a nice grave here, like a checkered board grave. We have Mary Jane Arthey, died 11th of April 1959, age 73. Well, when she died in 1959, I hadn't been born yet. I hadn't been born yet because I was born in 1961. She was 73, so she would have been born in 1884? Sorry, 1886. She would have been born in 1886. But as I was saying, the very first decade that's on, the whole decade's on photograph, is the 1840s. So, yeah, this the very first. So, look up on YouTube, 1840s photographs, and very interesting to see photos are in good condition from the 1840s. And all those people from the 1840s are dead now, but in the 1840s we were all dead, unless reincarnation's true. Now here's an interesting one. Look at this one here. This is Noah's Ark. Look at this headstone. Noah's Ark, Jacqueline Jean Nose. She was born on the 29th of March 1936. She died on the 29th of August 2016. She would have been 80. Truly beloved wife, mother, grandmother, and sister, inspired students, teacher, artist and gardener, faith, hope and charity. Well, I don't know if there is an afterlife, but that's Noah's Ark. That's the flood. I don't believe the flood story is real. And a lot of Christians don't believe in the flood either. It's just a fable, like the Adam and Eve story, But here we have another one. Patrick J. Joyce, sixth son of Pierce Joyce, born in Galway, Ireland, died 18th of November 1924 at the age of 64. So they would have been born in 1860. Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord. So, yeah. So it is, death is something that we all have to face. It is a reality that we all faced, death, and we can't escape it. We can't escape it. It's a fact, and I am an agnostic atheist. I'm not saying there is no life after death. I really don't know, but I don't think there is life after death. I don't think there is life after death. So I'm an atheist in that way, where I don't want to be an atheist. I don't want to believe atheism is true, but I think it is, sad to say. I do have hope, and I'm all for hope. Died January 17th, 1915, age 43. So this person here would have been born in 1872. Very interesting. I think the oldest grave here, I think it's 1890s. I think it's 1890s. Not 100% sure. This grave, very cracked up. Mary Massan died 22nd of April 1935. Maxie Millen died 2nd of April 1937. So they were, Mary was 67 and Maxie was 72. Yeah. So yeah, person here died in 1910. Mary Adams passed away 2nd of July 1910, age 48. As I loved her, so I miss her. Sweet, tender, fond and true, as the years roll on, dear Mary, I will always think of you, erected by her loving husband and children, and his brother, James Henry Adams. Age 63. Wow. Age 63. Well, that's how old I am. I'm 63, and I think a lot about death. I always have thought about death. Am I obsessed with death? Yes. I've always been obsessed with death. And it's always fascinated me, because when I was 1 year old, my mother died of an asthma attack. When I was 1, my mum was 30, 1962. And this person here died, Joseph Byron, died June 10th, 1907. They were 67. So they would have been born in 1840. As I said, the 1840s, the first decade on photograph. Have a look at those photographs and think, those people were alive, we were dead, and now we're dead. No, now we're alive and they're dead. So it is fascinating. Here's a nice headstone. Here's a nice, that's a nice, a new one. Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, wow, that's a beautiful headstone, that. Murphy, Janice Maureen, born 6th of September 1945, died 20th of April 2021. Much loved wife, mother and grandmother. The grief that we go through when we lose our dead loved ones is shocking. My mother died when I was 1 from an asthma attack. She was only 30, and I always grieved. My whole life I wondered where she was, and I have grieved her death. And still do. I don't know if I'll ever see my mother again. I'm an ex-Jehovah's Witness, and they taught that there'd be a resurrection back on earth, which is a beautiful belief. I wish it was true, but I don't know if it is true. And I'm not willing to knock on people's doors for the rest of my life on a gamble of it being true, because it's nice to believe, but there's no evidence that it is true. There is going to be a future resurrection, and we could stay dead forever, But we won't know we're dead. We won't know we're dead. It's like we've never been born. Or your memories go, it's like you go back into that exact non-existence. Indescribable nothingness. The experience of no experience, like Carolyn Elizabeth died December 10th, 1904. We were all dead in 1904. Margaret Helen died May 30th, 1906. We were all dead in 1906. Unless you believe in reincarnation. And I don't know. Now these ones, 1900s, they're all the 1900s. 1906, 1907, they're all oldies. So far, the 1900s, as far back as I can tell. 1900s. 1904, so far, is the oldest one I've seen. 1904, that's 1909. So far, 1904. So, yeah. Very sad, very sad. Very sad. John Bonner. Oh, here we are, drowned June 1st, 1903. John Bonner drowned June 1st, 1903. Must have drowned in the Logan River. Wow, I wonder how old they were, his fellow tramway employees. Oh, erected by his fellow tramway employees. So 1903, so far that's the oldest grave. There is all the modern graves, I don't like filming in modern graves, so I'm filming the older graves because the people here, they may not have visitors anymore. Like John Nathanel, he died in 1928. He was only 33. A loving son, a brother dear, a faithful friend is buried here. Devoid of malice, free from pride, as he lived, so he died, gone but not forgotten. So I don't know if anyone visits his grave. All his living relatives who knew him are probably dead too. And it's strange, in the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible, it says everyone who is living will be forgotten, and the coming generations that are coming still after us will be forgotten. People get forgotten, unless you're Elvis Presley or John Lennon and the Beatles. Paul McCartney, he'll always be remembered. The Beatles, Elvis Presley, and life's all about not living forever, but creating something that lives forever. Creating something that lives forever. You know, that's the way I look at it, you know. See the magpie on the headstone over there? I'll go and say hello to my mate. Oh, here we are, died. Here we are, Robert Alexander Boyd. Born February 15th, 1858. My big sister was born in 1958. And this Robert Alexander Boyd was born in 1858. Died December 26, 1891. So they would have been 33 when they died. 30. So this is the oldest grave. So far, this is the oldest grave in the cemetery that I've come across, 1891. And it looks like 1891, yeah. The oldest cemetery, the oldest grave stone so far. Oh, that's a lovely headstone. That's a nice headstone. Oh, wow. Alan Ronald Alf Hillier, born 23rd of February 1961, died 3rd of March 2019. So they would have been just before their 58th birthday. They would have been 57. So sad. He's the same age as I am. Wow. You know. So as I said before, I don't know what happens at death. I don't know there's an afterlife, and I can't see anything behind my head, so it's not like the dead are seeing blackness. They're not seeing a black hole of darkness. Funny enough, when you get your hair cut and you cut your fingernails, cut your hair, next time you cut your hair and cut your fingernails, burn them. They'll smell, but Your hair feels no pain when cut or burned. Fingernails feel no pain when cut or burned. And neither do we when we're dead. When you get your hair cut, your fingernails, you put them in a shoebox to bury them in the backyard. What are your fingernails experiencing? What's your cut hair experiencing since you cut them and put them in a shoebox and buried them in your backyard? What do they see? They see nothing. They experience nothing and they feel nothing. So far, 1891 is the oldest grave. We're 25 minutes into the video, and yeah, so interesting on skeletons and decomposition. There's a YouTube channel that's called T-Roy, T-E-R-O-Y, T-Roy Vlog TV. So T-Roy is T-E-R-O-Y space Vlog TV, and it's in the Philippines. And in the Philippines, they have wall crypts, where they put the body above ground. They put the person above ground in a wall crypt. They put the person above ground in a wall crypt, and after 5 years, they take the skeleton out of the wall crypt, because after 5 years the body has turned to bones, and they take the body out of the wall crypt, and it's all bones, and they put them in a cardboard coffin, like plywood coffin, like it's really not hardwood, and they take the bones out of the coffin after 5 years, and they put them in a bag, and the relatives of the deceased person get the bones, and they can do whatever they want with the skeleton of their loved one. They get to keep the skeleton of their loved one, and and the skeletons have still got clothing on them, and you can tell if they're a male or female skeleton because they've got the clothing, and and they start with all the feet bones, walk up to the top. Last thing they put in the bag is the skull, the human skull. And it's a fascinating YouTube channel. It's in the Philippines, and it's in wall crypts, like above ground tombs. And they'll have about 4 tombs high, like a big wall. And the name of the YouTube channel is T-Roy, that's T-E-R-O-Y, space Vlog, V-L-O-G, TV. Look it up, it's absolutely fascinating. If you don't mind looking at human remains, like skeletons, I find it fascinating. And I watch it nearly every day because I'm 63, and it helps me with my death anxiety that there is no real need to be scared of death, because if death is nothingness, why be scared of nothing? Huh? Nothing to be scared of. Like an empty room, there's nothing in that room. Why be scared of going in a room with nothing? And if death is nothing, we just simply don't exist. Like going to bed at night and never waking up again. Well, if that's the reality, that's the reality. Going to bed and never waking up again. And it might be pleasurable. One of the pleasures of life, to me, is eating, sex, and sleeping. I love sleeping. I love putting my head on the pillow and just closing my eyes and drifting into that unconsciousness. And death may be just as beautiful. Where do we go at night when we sleep? So when you go to bed at night, where do you go? When you're not dreaming, where are you? You don't see black. You don't see grey. You don't see blue. You see nothing. So when we die, I think that's what happens. I think the atheists are right, and I think the atheists have the truth. And since I've left the Jehovah's Witnesses here in Australia, it's pretty good. You can tell people you're an atheist, and they say, oh, I'm an atheist too. I still have to be very diplomatic about it, because if I find someone's a Christian, I'll say that, well, I'm an agnostic, you know. And if they ask me, well, why don't you believe in Christianity? I say, go to my YouTube channel, Justin Porter, XJW. And the reason why I do these videos is twofold. To show Jehovah's Witnesses why I left their religion, why I'm no longer a Jehovah's Witness. And the other reason I make these videos is to show Christians why I don't believe in the Bible. I think there's a lot of beautiful things in the Bible, but there's a lot of rubbish in the Bible, and there's a lot of immoral things in the Bible, you know. Mary Ellen Stevens, 1863 to 935. So they were 72 when they died, 72, yeah. So a lot of immoral things in the Bible, you know. Otto Dowf, 1865, 931. Oh. Margaret Dowf, 1878 to 932. So he would have been 66 years old. Sorry, 76 years old, Otto, and Margaret would have been 54, yeah. So, and my beautiful wife, Nicole, is a Jehovah's Witness, and I love her very, very much. We have a beautiful marriage, and I find one of the hardest things is not to preach to her. I try my very best not to talk about atheism, not to talk about why I believe the Bible's wrong, because I'm happy for her to stay a Jehovah's Witness. She has community, she has friends and family, and she has her own flesh and blood family who aren't Jehovah's Witnesses, but she also has a community in the Jehovah's Witness religion, and I think that's a good thing to have community. And I don't want her, I know I won't wake her up. If my wife ever wakes up from the Jehovah's Witness religion, I'll let her do it in her own time. But if she never wakes up, I'm still going to love her, and we're still going to have a happy marriage. An agnostic atheist and a Jehovah's Witness can still have a happy marriage if there's love in the marriage. And there is love in our marriage, and no God. There's no God in our marriage, but there's love. And we're not going to let a mythological God, Canaanite, Israelite, Middle Eastern God, tell us what we can and can't do. She loves me, regardless. And she knows I'm an agnostic atheist, and I always tell my wife that there could be life after death. I don't know. You know, I really don't know. Nobody knows, because no one's died, you know. No one can say. No one has the right to say what happens, but I don't think anything happens. We can speculate, and I really don't think anything happens. I think we're just dead. That's it, you know. Sad as that is, it's reality, you know. And I think atheists are the only ones that are brave enough to face up to the reality of death. They're the only ones who are brave enough to face up to it, you know. That's a nice one. Repose in peace. Italian. What a beautiful headstone. Wow, that's beautiful. That is really nice. That's beautiful. Very nice, very nice. Well, when will I see you again? When will our hearts beat together? Are we in love or just friends? Is this my beginning or is this the end? When will I see you again? When will I see you again? When will our hearts beat together? Are we in love or just fans? Is this my beginning or is this the end? When will I see you again? When will I see you again? When will I see you again? I never can say goodbye. No, no, no. I never can say goodbye. Every time I'm feeling heading up, as out of heading for the door, there's a very strange vibration that's hurting me just more and more. I say, turn around, you fool. I will, yeah, love you more and more. Is it true? Is it true? I just wanna say love you. Well, bye-bye. That's it. 35 minutes is long enough. Thanks for watching my video. Justin Porter, XJW. Like, subscribe. I did shave off my beard. I shaved off my beard. I couldn't handle it. It's scratchy. I got baptised when I was 35 as Jehovah's Witness, and I never had a beard. Longest I ever had a beard for was 2 weeks, and I just got to shave them off. And after 26 days, I didn't shave for 26 days, so I had to shave off my beard because I couldn't handle it. I prefer to be clean shaven, but it just goes to show you what a cult Jehovah's Witnesses are. They have, grown men have to be told if they give them permission to wear a beard, or women permission to wear slacks and pants. But hey, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and when the shunning stops, these videos will stop. Thank you.